I've mastered the art of the silent fart.
Are you spreading your cheeks before you fart?
Yes. That's the move. You gotta let one rip, but you don't want to be like that asshole, so you just let it rip quietly. And then you make eye contact with somebody, and you're like, "Well, what the fuck was that?" Like, I know.
Yeah, you go.
Fucking animals around us.
Yeah, you give them the.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But that's because if you smell it, it could come from anywhere. But if you hear it, that's how they pinpoint you. The technique is, if you just gently use one hand on one butt cheek, just gently spread your ass cheek just a little bit. It just slightly opens up your asshole just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, where the fart just slides out. It's an art form. I've mastered it.
Yeah. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
New York Silly.
How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me what's funny.
All right, welcome to the New York Silly podcast. Once again, we are here. Got Mike, Joey, and I'm Brian.
Hey.
Hey,
What's going on? It's what's today? Sunday?
Sunday.
Yes.
November 2nd. Did you guys all remember to fast forward your clock? Oh,
Time travel.
Time travel last night.
What'd you guys do with that extra hour of life last
I
night?
fucking slept like a
Yeah.
baby.
I played a nice game of Madden.
Yeah. I went to the moon, said what up to the
Did you?
aliens.
Nice.
It was a good time. They were into it.
I think I did that too. I don't remember. It was a good night.
That's what
So comedy. Well, first today it was the New York City Marathon, which I was surprised that more of the city was not shut down. I thought it was going to be.
They do a great job.
I thought it was going to be a
planning that
lockdown.
out.
Because the canyons are so fast.
It's
You
going to
just
go
keep
to
up with the
canyons.
cars anyway.
Is it over by now?
Yeah, it's over.
No, there's definitely still people out
Canyon-
there. The elites are done though.
Right, the
Pros,
professionals.
but they went off at the women went off at 9:10 and the guys went off at 9:40. So they've been done for a
I'll tell you the
while.
winner's name.
I know who it is.
Who is it?
It's what's his name? Kip Song or something
Yeah,
like that.
Wilson Kipsang.
Yeah.
Why? That sounds Asian. Who is he?
No, he's
What is he?
he's
He's
Kenyan.
He's Kenyan.
An Asian guy went out to the lead, and when I told you before, some guy went out in the lead and then
Uh-huh.
fell back. I didn't want to tell you he was Asian. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
It was probably
Could have
me.
built him up and then just hung up on him.
Yeah, he went out to the early lead, and then they reeled his ass back in.
Who would have thought Asians became good at eating hot dogs and Africans became good at running marathons? I never would have put two and two together.
But isn't he banned, that
Who?
dude?
Who?
What's his
Kobayashi?
name? Yeah,
From the
Kobayashi.
hot
Yes,
dogs?
yeah.
What do you do?
Because he
with
doesn't want
steroids?
to join the league.
Ah,
He doesn't want to join the league. That's some bullshit like that.
Right.
yeah.
So that's all Joey
too
Chestnut,
big.
the American. the white
Chestnut's
dude.
a psycho. Like he's really into
Right.
that whole thing.
And he's won like the last 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah,
he's got
something like that.
He owns it.
He proposed to his girlfriend at the last one, and they give him like this WWF
There's a ring on a
looking
hot
title.
dog.
Yeah, and he's like all into it. I don't know. I was just watching and I was like,
Uh-huh.
I feel like everyone else is kind of mocking this guy, but he thinks it's like genuine, you know? I felt bad.
Hot dog
I
eating.
felt bad for him.
Oh, real quick in comedy news. So last night, obviously today's Sunday. Last night was Saturday Night Live. Chris Rock, who of course is legendary comedian, we all know him, we all love him. He did a monologue. I don't know if you guys all caught
I
it.
freaking missed that, man.
I watched it this morning.
What did you think, Joey?
I liked it. I mean, I think
Honest opinion. Go.
so. Honest opinion. I mean, I don't think it was like laugh out loud, belly aching funny the monologue, but I think Chris Rock has earned the right to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. And he's using that right, and he earned that right. So like, why not? I mean,
And real quick, just what you're alluding to right now is that a lot of the write-ups this morning was saying that how he was very controversial and he touched upon a lot of touchy sort of, like kind of eyebrow-raising subjects. For example, like terrorism, the Boston Marathon bombing, 9/11, and he's getting a pass. Well, he's getting a lot of praise because he has jumped into these topics where a lot of other comedians might avoid it. Did he do a good job, Joey, in your opinion?
I thought he did. I thought he did a good job. It was funny the way he positioned the marathon. Like you're running for 26 miles, then people start screaming, "Run, run again!"
very
And
end.
you're like, "What do you mean? I've just been doing that."
Yeah.
That was really funny. Like it did feel though like Chris Rock said to himself, like, "I want to talk about these topics," and he set out to make them funny. And I thought he did a good job. But it's
Right.
like anywhere else. Like we experience it in clubs. Like there's just certain you just start to feel like what humans have been taught. Like if you talk about 9/11, that's bad. So we're all going to shut down
Certain
and not
buzzwords.
listen to what you say. Like, how many times that happened in a comedy club? You're like, oh man, I got this really funny AIDS joke, right?
But
And like
you go,
half
"Ugh."
your audiences, the audiences that are open-minded enough to go with it will think it's your best joke all night. But the audiences that just hear AIDS and go, that's bad, I'm not going to listen.
Right,
Then
right.
it's your worst joke of the night, you know?
And that's definitely in both of you guys' opinions. You feel that that's kind of taken over the mindset, not just in comic clubs, but like the country as a whole now, where certain topics, for example, the Boston Marathon, because he was saying, oh, tomorrow's going to be the New York City Marathon. New York City Marathon. Last year, the Boston Marathon. It's oh, what's going to happen? It's very like just what Joey's saying. There's like knee-jerk reaction topics now. Do you guys feel that when you guys are performing that there's certain things you can't go into?
I try not to think about it. I really don't.
You just go.
Yeah,
if
because
it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, you hope it is,
Uh-huh.
and you hope they understand where you're coming from. That's the whole thing. To tell a joke, and I mean, the beginning of a joke when you think of a premise, and it involves race or touchy subjects. It's subjects. It's English 101.
Have a puff of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I mean, it has to come in for it's got to be your feeling. You know, if you express exactly how you feel, you should be okay, right? I mean,
That's what comedy's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the old adage is if it's funny, it's funny. But and I totally agree with that. But just to play devil's advocate, is there ever a situation? Is there ever a situation? I was banging on the table. Joey called me out on that. Very good. Is there ever a situation where funny is funny? Yes, but I don't know. Some things should not be told. Some things should not be gone into.
it's got to be said smartly. You know,
Right.
It's all about the context.
If it's funny, I'm fine with anything. But sometimes people do things just for the sake of it. Like, how many times you had an open mic and somebody's like, yeah, so I raped her. And it's like, you just wanted to say rape.
Yeah.
That's not
Right,
funny at all.
right,
Like
yeah.
that, and that's stupid, you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
if you can pull it off, like, tactfully and it's funny and, like, it's just done the right way, then I think that's what makes you, like, a great comic, you know?
I agree.
when you're building up to that punchline, it's such a it's like walking a tightrope where you feel the audience tense up, but you can't go with them. You know because you know what you're gonna say. So if you go with that tension, you're gonna lose yourself in that tension, and you're not gonna deliver the right punchline and the right feeling and the mindset you were feeling, right?
Right.
So when you deliver that punchline with that tension, it's just gonna sound awkward, and it's gonna end awkward, and it's just
It could be horrible.
Yeah,
and then you're going to maybe say something about the awkwardness
Yeah.
and make it worse.
Yeah, and then it just gets you're stepping on crap
Oh,
barefoot.
you guys didn't like that one, huh?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, go around the table, what's a bit right now that you're kind of working on or you have been working on where you think, you know what, I think it's funny, I believe in this bit, but the subject matter is a little, you're not so confident that audiences across the board will be with you on? And not for that, not because it's not funny, just because you feel that it's a button that they might not go with you. Anybody?
The origins of religion. It's the one that I like, that I have very strong feelings about, and sometimes it's tension.
Why do you think that is?
Sometimes I feel like when I'm talking about the religion, I just lose myself I anger myself, and then I feel like I'm become a preacher. I just start preaching, and I sound like I'm in church, and I'm like,
Where do you personally stand on religion as a whole?
I don't believe it. I believe it's like Santa. It's our Santa Claus. It's like Santa Claus. We tell kids there's Santa Claus, and then later on they find out there's no.
So
Santa
you think
Claus.
that your bit,
the same way.
You think that your bit is definitely from that perspective, and you feel that certain people who are a little bit more religious might back off from you.
So are you saying then when we die essentially, then we realize, oh, Jesus wasn't real either? Like that's like our like Santa Claus moment for kids?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like,
hilarious. That should be the joke if it's not. It's fucking
yeah,
great.
it's just that we don't. It's just not there. Hey, it didn't exist. But I'm hoping that we die and then we get to explore the universe. That's my.
Well, I'm
that'd
pretty
be the
sure,
best.
based on my research, that's kind of what happens. So you're
That should be
in
awesome.
luck. Yeah.
Nice.
What are you, a Scientologist?
No, I just read a lot of.
Is that what they do?
a lot of nonsense.
You read a lot of pamphlets from
You ever read The Secret History of the World?
L. Ron Hubbard? No. Go ahead.
There's a lot of stuff about that and that.
Speaking of which, do you ever see this documentary called Zeitgeist?
No.
Some of it. It's a documentary about an hour and a half long. It's a free documentary. It's on Netflix, but it's also on YouTube. And for conspiracy theories out there, I don't want to say conspiracy theory. It's not, because it has a negative connotation, but it's very interesting. It goes into just basically who's really running the world.
Oh yeah.
And it's fascinating. Everybody check it out.
stuff.
Zeitgeist. Everybody,
I'll
this
watch it.
little
I'm
side
gonna
Yeah,
into
note.
that
Zeitgeist.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not me. I'm not running the world.
All right. Joey, is there like a bit or anything that you're
Yeah,
working right now
so
that you feel?
for a couple of months now, I've been working on this one where I talk about if you piss off a middle-aged white woman,
Oh, I heard that.
she'll
Very
send
funny.
she'll send a letter
Yeah.
or an email, and there'll be consequences, and that like but it took me a long time. Like I had to get to that place where I was like presenting it the correct way. Because when I first started telling it, I used to say my least favorite group is middle-aged white ladies, and that's how I would present it. And naturally, when we were like in the city and it was all 25-year-olds, whoever, everybody just thought this is fucking hilarious. But then you bring it on the road and it's a bunch of 40 and 50-year-old women, and it just kind of catches them like, well, what's your fucking problem? You know? So I was like, and sometimes it would do really well, and then sometimes it wouldn't. It was one of those like polarizing jokes, and I wanted to keep doing it, but like I'd shelved it for a while, then I brought it back, then I shelved it, and now I'm doing it again. But I present and I say, the only group of people left that I'm still afraid of is middle-aged white ladies. And that's how like I present it, you know?
yeah.
And that kind of, I think, creates like more intrigue where they're like,
Right.
ooh, where's this going to go? As opposed to like, just better go different than it started, kid.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You better watch yourself, young man.
And it seems to be working better. But if I was Chris Rock and I had the kind of credibility he had, I'll go back and open it to just say what I want, because you know then you're allowed.
Do you think that a lot of comedians like a Louis C.K. or a Chris Rock, they have that name recognition, so they have the luxury of just going on stage and saying whatever the fuck they want? Or do you feel that there is a lot of sort of
Well, I
skill
look at
involved?
I look at how what's his name, George Carlin and Bill Hicks did that thing. I mean, they were anti-establishment, like
like nobody's
yeah.
business?
I don't think there's anybody that was more like Tom Rhodes. Those are pretty good at tackling those subjects.
Tom Rhodes, yes, definitely. A guy who is a Tom Rhodes comedian. He really built his, I think, following in Europe.
Yeah.
But he started, of course, he's American. He started here in the U.S., but he's a guy, a 25, 30-year dude. Very underrated.
Yeah, he's
Tom
awesome.
Rhodes.
He's awesome. They do it, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And Bill Hicks, he's just always like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, sorry to interrupt. There's a book that it kind of goes right along with what we're talking about. There's a book called Satiristas by Paul Provenza. You guys read that?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I have. Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it. I'll let you borrow it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
grabbed it for you. It's great. It's an interview book where Paul Provenza, he's a comedian. He actually was a host of The Green Room with Paul Provenza. It was like a round table of comedians who sat around and just shut the shit. But he wrote this book, and he interviewed guys. And the book, the premise of the book is not just to talk about stand-up comedy, but specifically comedians who've been known to push buttons, who push the envelope,
Who are the
talk
best
about
guys.
who everybody like. I just to give you a couple of names who he interviewed, like Colin Quinn's in it, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill before he passed away. I think there's an interview with Carlin. Everybody. It was great. A bunch of children in the background running around. Sorry about that.
Shut the fuck up, you
so-
stupid kids.
They're in Brian's basement. They're in Brian's basement. That's those
They're
kids.
tied up to the radiator. Guys, don't call the cops on me. So yeah, anyway, just for the listeners out there, and Joey, definitely check that book out.
You know what I always think too? Like I always view that as kind of like with like great comics, and they can get away, they get more leeway, right? But it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, do these comics get leeway because they've been great for so long and they earned it, or are they great because they get that leeway?
Right.
I kind of think it builds on itself. Like
Uh-huh.
you initially get that leeway because you've just been so freaking funny for so long. And then the more leeway you get, you can just continue to hit new levels, So I feel like you kind of got to like get that like patch, that badge, like, okay,
Right,
you
right,
earned
right.
this. Now you can really do what you want up there, you
Yeah.
know? And if you give a comic a license to like, if you tell a comic like you can talk about whatever you want and we're going to have an open mind and go with you for an hour, you could have your mind blown with some comics that aren't even famous. Like some comics you just meet on the road, you're like, we're freaking great.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't have that leeway,
Right.
What's his, Joe Rogan's another one.
Rogan. Oh,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah. Like
Stanhope.
Stanhope. Yeah, right now he's like a top guy who just talks truth.
Yeah.
At least what he believes. And that's what the whole thing. If you believe it, show us. Just let us know. In joke form, let us know how you feel. And that's what we do, I guess. I like that. I like that we do that.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. We see what's going on and we let you know.
Well, here's a news story that's been very viral and talk about pushing buttons. The whole catcalling controversy, for lack of a better word. You know, I'm sure everyone, if you're listening, you're probably internet savvy. You've saw it on Facebook or Twitter or the news. Somebody made this video where they had a hidden camera and they followed a woman around Manhattan, New York City, for about the video said 10 hours, and you just see guy after guy, dude after dude on the street catcalling her, you know, making comments to her, and she doesn't respond. She's just walking, just a straight walk, and he picked up a lot of steam. What do you guys think?
You know how I feel about that. I'm a professional catcaller.
It's true. I've walked the streets with Michael Hernandez. This guy.
It's something.
You make it an art form. I'm not. All bullshit aside, I'm not dissing no shtick. You do. It's infinitely two things. It's infinitely entertaining, and B, you do it not in a creepy way.
Right.
You don't. You really don't.
Right.
I'm sensitive to that. You don't do it in a creepy way.
You have to. I wish everyone could see Hernandez lighting up at this compliment.
I know.
He's like, you're right.
Because I know. I'm in a union. You see, I'm in a union. I'm a construction worker. We are professional catcalls. We know what we're doing.
You're the first person I thought. I'm sorry. You're the first person I thought of when I saw the video, and I'm like, and you see all the comments on the bottom of it. Oh, this is fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But I immediately thought of, you can't just kind of make a blanket statement that they're all creeps, they're all dirtbags. Because I'm like, dude, my friend Mike, he's a good guy, and he does this,
Brian.
and he's not fucking, being obscene about it. So I took personal offense to it on your behalf.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. Now go ahead.
But it's like, you seen the guys that were doing it, all creeps. They were jobless creeps. There was
one guy following
Well, the
her.
guy who followed
That's
her,
over
and there's
the
two
line.
guys who followed her. The one guy just silently followed her. I thought, I was getting, I was like, if I didn't know the conclusion to this, if I didn't know that she ended up okay enough to post this, I would think this guy's going to fucking attack her in a second.
Right.
That was
For
crazy.
the record, we're all against that. We're not for that
we're
type of
against it.
behavior.
But that's also, I believe that's entrapment. It's entrapment. That's what that was. It's entrapment. She's hired because she looked a certain way, she was dressed a certain way, and she was put out, in the wilds of New York. And New York is a big city.
Mm-hmm.
And
Could I? Yeah.
well, it's just like, come on, women highlight the parts that we love best. This, and then. I don't know.
Could I play devil's advocate?
Carry on.
This is the argument that they presented. That okay, she was dressed, whatever. She could be dressed in a bikini, a thong bikini with high heels. That still doesn't give you the right to bother her. How do you answer that, Joe, Mike? Floor's open.
Well, I didn't think. I mean, it doesn't give you the right. I don't know. It's such a stupid thing that this is even blown up like it has. Like what, I was surprised to see it because I don't catcall. I don't even, if a girl looks at me across the bar and smiles and waves, I still think she probably doesn't like me, and I still won't go over.
Yeah, the first thing I do is look over my shoulder.
Yeah, I have nowhere near the self-esteem to catcall personally.
You gotta have a lot of,
But
chutzpah.
I mean, I think if a girl walks by and some stupid jerk-off construction worker named fucking Mike Hernandez goes, "Oh, hey, what's up, beautiful?" I've seen girls smile at that, But if you're gonna be following them, it's one, yeah. Or what I always hated when guys say "God bless you" to the girl.
Yeah,
for some reason I don't like that one.
I said that. It sucks.
Yeah, I've never seen a girl like that. Because I've seen guys be creepy. I've seen guys just walk right next to a girl on the subway and be like,
and lean
"Ooh, God bless you." Then they just blatantly look like they give them the lean around when they look at their ass.
I've been guilty. I've been guilty of that.
And it's like, come on, bro. You're making her uncomfortable. But I don't know. Who's to say what? I saw some female comic posted, if this makes someone feel uncomfortable, then that's how they feel. And no one can tell you how you are or aren't supposed to feel.
Right.
And I agree with that. I think that's accurate. So if it makes the girl uncomfortable to walk by and hear, "Hey, you look great," or whatever they're going to say, I would probably be less nice than that. But.
Right. No, I agree on both. I think, but if I can make just one stance, it's this. You're absolutely right. You should never make somebody feel uncomfortable, and if you do, then you're wrong. Don't be a dick and make people uncomfortable. However, if I may add to that, also, you can't make a blanket statement and say that they're all bad guys. They're all, potential rapists and sexual, assault. Some of them are just saying hello. So like on the video, if you watch the video, there were some guys who just said good morning.
Right.
You know, how are you? I don't think that qualifies as.
Some people
Yeah.
meet their husband and wife that way.
Okay,
Like
Exactly. That's exactly.
Some
How do
people
you
meet their-
How do you know?
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you that you're the woman of my dreams, and I gotta let you know that I'm the man of your dreams. So we have to meet somehow, and this is what- you know. This is what-
Hey,
you
sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm the man of
Hey.
your dreams. Can you see? You have to walk out. You can't let that pass. If you see a beautiful woman, somebody that you're attracted to, and you genuinely want to meet her, you gotta go after. You cannot just not let her walk by, and then you're gonna go to just walk life without knowing if that would have worked. You gotta give it a shot.
I wish I had that.
You gotta do it.
balls that you have with that.
Yeah, but if you know, if you gotta you love sex, right? You gotta give it a shot.
It's a good time.
People are, I don't know. I mean, it starts from school when women are guilty also of this because when I was in high school, I go up to a girl and she'll reject me because I can't, I like you, but you're too nice, you know. And then 2 weeks later, she has a black eye, and like that's what thugs do, This is who you wanted. They always want the bad guy, and that's why you don't like good guys. So you change your okay, now I'm tough and I'm a catcall women. So it starts from there.
That's
You know,
that's a
the
good
attitude
point.
changes. I'm gonna be a bad guy. I'm gonna be a tough guy.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Plus, I don't know. My father also taught me something.
Did you guys find the video to be racist or what do you call it? Yeah, I guess one of the charges was that it was racist because it featured a lot of black and Hispanic men hitting on a white girl, as if the woman who I'm sure you saw the video, she was white and she walked through. They said a lot of predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhoods.
No.
Was that sort of
Pretty accurate.
artificial or bad or what?
No, it's pretty accurate. Blacks and Hispanics do it. We're the ones that do it. White people don't do it.
White dudes, I think, over 50 that work in
Think so in
construction. I'll see it then.
Yeah.
Just to be
when
fair.
I first heard, oh well, if you do walk on the street, most of the time it is black Hispanic men. But I'm like, immediately I thought, well, construction workers. Mm-hmm. Every time you say construction site, mostly white, Irish or Italian, and they are masters. They're
You
great.
get a fat Italian guy catcalling hard,
Yeah.
But you can't blame the. I mean, these guys work with men, surrounded by penis all day long, and then on
Yeah.
their lunch break, finally they're outside. Now you see women. I mean, working with dudes all day long. Even the women in construction look like men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who
Yeah,
wants to
they're
be
not hot.
caressed by a construction woman's hand? It's so rough. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get. Oh no.
It's something
The
about
Seinfeld episode, man hands.
It's something
Yeah.
about working outdoors, right? Because I remember being a kid and because my dad always worked outdoors. He was a hard hat guy, and I remember once or twice a summer, him and all of his coworkers, they were Con Edison guys. They would go out to Long Island and we'd take a big fishing boat out. And the party fishing boats. And I remember one time we were out there, and all these guys are 50 years old, and we're getting on one of the boats, and then there's these 3 or 4 really pretty girls. They're probably in their 20s, and they must have been meeting up with their boyfriends or something. And they were on the dock, and the boyfriends were on the boat next to us. So they start waving to the boyfriends. They're like, "Oh, hey." And literally, on cue, every guy my dad worked with, all 10, 12 of them went, "Oh, hey, sweetheart!" And they started waiting there, all these fat fucking Italian guys. And I was 12 years old. I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I ever seen in my life. So, it must be what you're saying. They just spend all day in
Men,
trucks with
yeah.
other dudes
Yeah, it's just
doing
men all day
doodly
long,
stuff,
yeah.
and they just want to see some chicks. And
Yeah.
when they do, they don't know. They can't control themselves.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely
But is that it though? Is it context? Is one of the things that I keep hearing and reading about and people saying is that it's context. It's how you present it. If you do it with a smile, you do it in, I don't know even what this, but in a non-threatening way, however you specify that. Like you said, a bunch of old fat Italian dudes, all good, they're
non-threatening,
It's
yeah.
your uncles getting up at a barbecue,
Right.
and they're just yelling out at some woman who walks by. It's non-threatening. So is that the answer? Context.
I kind of think.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it's what is like we said, you can't tell someone how they should feel, but one thing you can look at and say is that behavior of following that girl for 5 blocks is not okay. No matter, even if the girl was okay with it, that's still not okay. That's not acceptable behavior. So I feel like there's a certain.
Yeah, and I always said the best defense for any woman to not get catcalled is hold a clipboard. Any guy who walks by you, if they want to talk to you, just say, "Hi, do you have a second to sign my petition for blah 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 blah?" You'll see the light go out in his eyes, and he'll cross the street from 2 avenues away. Guaranteed to work. I've seen beautiful women and they turn around and I see them holding a clipboard. I fucking cross the street or I duck into a subway. I don't want to deal with them, no matter how good looking she was.
I wish we were famous because you would get so much backlash if hundreds of thousands of people listen to this. Brian Jian says all women should just go out with a clipboard.
Hold a clipboard.
No one will bother you.
Man,
You realize that's a joke, right? Don't hold a clipboard.
That's how he feels, ladies.
I was offended. I wish women would catcall men. I seen something like an example of that in the city, 34th Street. I'm walking. There's two chicks walking in front of me, pretty nice, right? And there's a dude coming opposite direction, coming down the block, and I hear them. Damn, that dude has a big dick. Right? I was offended, because they weren't talking about me, but
Hey, who are you talking about?
Wow, that was like damn.
Oh, I'm offended.
Yeah, that. I went home and I played with myself a little bit after. It was pretty exciting. I was like, wow, women think that way.
Great. Now I got to chub up whenever I walk down the sidewalk. As a man, you say, well, if women started catcalling me, I would love that. But what if it's not catcalling? What if it's like every time you walk down the street and every woman who turns to you talks like your mother? Like, when are you gonna get married? Oh, are you wearing that? Oh, your hair looks terrible. Like that would get kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Something I saw in the news today. This was kind of not today. I saw it this week, but it was pretty ridiculous. So, and I've noticed this too. Like, I've noticed this new craze every time you go in a store. Everything says natural on it. Like, have you noticed that? Like,
yes.
And all these these junk food bags. Like, they've changed the material of the bag. Also, have you noticed that it's no longer like the shiny plastic? It looks like something you would find in like like an old shop in like the Amish country in Pennsylvania or something. Like, it just looks very like
rustic. And
like they're going for like this natural look, and they put natural on a bag of like Cheetos or cheese popcorn, and I'm like, first of all, I'm annoyed because I'm like, well, is this what I want? Is this actually? Because I don't even know. I'm like, I don't trust it now. Is it still gonna taste good? Like, it's Sunday afternoon watching football. I want some fucking cheese popcorn. I don't want some natural, healthy, tasteless crap. That's not what I'm here for. And it just turned out I saw some article this week, and apparently this whole natural label is just total bullshit. It's not regulated in any way. The FDA doesn't recognize it, so you can put natural on anything. Here's a natural bag of whatever you want. Oh, here's some Oreos. They're natural. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, it's natural. So you could say it about anything. And they're saying, like, is that okay? Because is it misleading people? I think it's total bullshit. It's like, if you go get a bag of Cheetos.
But yeah, no, Joe, you're absolutely right, though. It's just it's marketing. It's just another way to make people feel like they're doing something.
Extra. They want to charge you more.
And they're charging more.
They do want to charge you more.
As soon as it's organic or natural on it, price goes up. And it's just nonsense. The companies have put so much money into this so much money into this freaking word that the meaning of the word is no longer it's hazy. Like, they don't know what the hell is,
No, but that's what the whole article said. Like, nobody knows. This doesn't even. What does it mean?
They changed the meaning of it.
Yeah.
There is a meaning, but that meaning is no longer applicable to when it comes to food. What the hell is that? How much money do these companies have killed? They suck the life out of things. Now they're sucking the lives out of words. Like, they lost their meanings. Like, how do you lose a meaning for a word? Like when people.
Yeah.
How do you just? Oh yeah, it's natural. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. I don't know.
Well, they can fall back on anything. Like, let's say there's like sugar in it. They could be like, well, yeah, it's natural sugar. Like, if there's one freaking natural ingredient, which obviously everything's gonna have, but still, like, I don't know. But I still think, like, the food companies are guilty for dicking around with this, but people are doing it on purpose too. Like, because when people go to the doctor and the doctor's like, what the hell have you been eating? And they're like, I've been sticking to the natural Cheetos. Like, they know they're still not eating, right? They just want an excuse to keep eating like crap, you know?
Yeah, but they're being lied to. And why are they being lied to? Because sales have been over $100 billion. That's why. $100 billion in natural food. 60% of it is from food, from just saying natural. So
it's a total load of shit.
It's selling stuff. And now, like Pepsi's, it's natural products from Pepsi. What the fuck do they do?
They're taking a page out of, like, political campaigns. Like, hey, anything you say can just be total bullshit.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you actually follow up on your word.
These are the people. I mean, these are the people that really run the government. I mean, they run the world. The government is a second. It's like just a puppet, right? Is that how it works?
Oh yeah.
You pay them a little money, and then they'll change meanings for you.
Well, I'm sure like Wise potato chips or whatever probably has like connected to some kind of lobbying group. I would assume the junk food industry has a lot of money in Washington to keep natural from being regulated, you know?
I just heard that I think this year for Halloween alone, or this year, the just the candy, not even like the chips or whatever, just candy, they made $2.2 billion in sales
God damn.
in this country, just on candy alone.
That goes
Candy.
back to what Chris Rock was talking about, how we commercialize the shit out of everything.
Right.
And he was talking about Christmas and Jesus not being materialistic and
Right.
stuff.
And then in a couple of years, we're going to have like the 9/11 sales.
That was so funny,
I
yeah.
mean, why not? You know, like you had this guy named Jesus. He died for your sins. He got nailed to the cross in a horrible crucifixion. And in a couple of years, you know, nowadays we have the Christmas Day sale, or the Christmas Day this, the Christmas Day. We're commercializing this guy's death. In a couple of years, we're going to commercialize 9/11.
How that's another thing about religion. We say that the crucified. How lucky are the Catholics? Like I was a Catholic. How lucky that we got the crucifixion, right? Because imagine if Jesus would have been killed in modern times, and it would have been like we would have not the sign of the cross. We have the sign of the electric chair. That's my. You would see like you shake and stuff. You're like,
Everybody would have a chair on a necklace instead of a cross.
Yeah. How long did that take on? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it'd be Death Row Records.
It's fucking
the Church of Death Row.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like you see a baseball player go up to bat and he'll fucking shake. You know, wow, that guy is religious. I do believe in God.
He points up in the sky and he does the shake.
Yeah, he does the shake. It's insane.
See, I feel even a little bad saying this, but like if Jesus was around today, like he would be on CNN and they would be like, that crazy son of a bitch cult leader Jesus is at it again.
Of
Like,
course.
Exactly.
Yes.
yeah. Hey, can we talk
Well,
about
spending money, that's...
Yeah, that's what. Can we talk about? So like a big thing now in America is the fast food workers fighting for livable wages.
Yeah.
And there was some article that in Denmark, which I was just in Denmark, and it was
What were you doing in
people have to be
Denmark?
the nicest people ever. My job was founded there, so they sent like my whole team there
Get
for
the
a week.
fuck
It was
out.
fucking awesome. We were in Copenhagen.
I'm sure you guys worked a lot.
We were drunk pretty much there. I stand by that if I didn't
When in
go
Rome.
there, my half marathon time in Staten Island would have been like 2 minutes faster. Like I really wore myself out when I was out there. But when I was talking to them, they all couldn't believe, like, because they were asking me how much vacation time do people get in America, and I said, I get 3 weeks a year where I am, and I was like, they originally offered me 2, and I had to negotiate with them to get 3, and they couldn't believe it. They all get they get 5 or 6 weeks. Every company gets either 5 or 6 weeks, and then they get if you have a kid as a mom, you have a full year off paternity leave. The dad gets, I think it was 3 months paternity leave.
Jesus.
Damn.
They have, like, everybody is under universal health care, even if you don't have a job.
Right,
they pay
right.
higher taxes, but they get paid more to compensate for it.
Yeah. And isn't college free, or
I didn't get into
highly
that.
subsidized? I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up, but I heard something like that. Anyway, go
Yeah,
on.
and the moms have 1 day a month off to hang out with their kids.
Yeah.
It's 9 to 5. They give you lunch every day at work. It's just like a better quality of life. And then apparently now we saw this article that in fast food chains in Denmark, they get paid like $20 an hour and it's very livable. And,
Jesus.
and they were saying like, why can't they do that in somewhere like the United States where the profit margins are even higher?
Oh,
It's like, why can't they? There's no really good answer other than
And that's-
people just don't want to give it up.
And that goes back to like Occupy Wall Street and take.
Yeah. It's the 1%.
It's the 1%.
Did you see the way that I forget who they talked to for the U.S. He tried to give an excuse of why they couldn't do it, but their excuses were horrible. They were horrible excuses. Like, you're not making sense, fella, because what you're saying is that you have enough funds to make the money, and then to pay these people, right? And they say, what do they say? Hold on, they say, they start scaring people right away. That's the whole thing. That's they say, God damn it, what do they say?
Well, that's always the move. They got to make it like, well, if we paid them more, then you're going to have to pay more taxes. They always tell like everyone else, then you're going to have to pay more. Your fucking
Right.
Whopper is going to be 30 cents more than it is now.
Yeah.
Even though we were planning that price increase anyway next month. Like they're always, that's always the move. They're always like, how can we make people think this will negatively impact their lives if this happens?
They say that if they do that over here, like they ask them for $15 an hour, right, over here, and they say that if they do that, we'll have to deal with a lot of woe. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of woe. That's it. Like what?
What are they saying?
They're saying it will be a lot of woe, like a chaos. They're saying that if they raise the,
Oh,
there'll be so much
WOE.
chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what kind of chaos do you think is gonna be?
Yeah, what
Like,
kind of chaos?
I don't know. I don't know. People will be in shape, maybe. People live longer. I don't know.
Everyone
More
walking
people
on
getting
6
laid.
packs. How
Yeah,
dare
people
they?
getting laid more.
Yeah.
Because they're not fat. Right away they try to scare people. Like, it will never. Come on. Every time there's something that will benefit the public, they try to scare you.
Well, I mean, it's getting close though. What now? I think Seattle, the minimum wage is, I want to say, like $13 or something like that.
That's livable. You could pay rent with that.
How
Yeah,
much?
minimum wage, like $13.
That's all right.
It's getting there.
You could pay $900 a month rent with $13 an hour. You know.
That's great. Move to Seattle if you want a good
Oh, Colorado. I don't know. Is Colorado good?
job.
Colorado's good. They got weed now. That's nice.
Colorado,
So is Washington.
Washington, 23 states.
Oh,
It's
Washington
either
has weed now.
Yeah.
Like Denver, like you can walk into places.
of the
like
two states that's
Amsterdam.
absolutely legal. They're actually selling it over the counter. It's Colorado and Washington.
Oh, yeah.
23 states altogether. Some they just decriminalize it, meaning like if you're caught holding, possession,
Right.
cops can't arrest you. It's not a crime.
Is it like that in New York? Because like
I
I'll
think
smoke
so.
weed outside a bar and nobody seems to say anything.
Yeah. You just can't sell it or
We didn't
intend to
legal in
sell or
Oklahoma.
something like that.
I think one hitters like you should just tell a cop like yeah, but it's just a one hitter.
It's a one hitter.
And they should be like, you know what? That's a good point. It is just a one hitter. Why not take a fucking hit in between periods? You know what I mean? Like, who you bothering? It should be the who am I bothering policy.
Exactly.
That's what it should be. Oh, you hit your one hitter and then you went back in and finished your beer and nothing changed except you were funnier than you were before. No problem.
You got maybe one extra boring story that has no ending, but who you hurting? Who you
Right.
hurting?
You know, whoever's high with you will get the ending to your story, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I like how we turned McDonald's in
I know.
Denmark into. Sometimes
I
we
don't
smoke
understand.
weed.
I don't understand why the fast food. Speaking of fast food and weed, I don't know why the fast food industry doesn't lobby for legalization of marijuana because they would be the ones who
Exactly, they'll benefit.
benefit pizzerias because
White Castle.
Yeah.
what do you call it? Peyton Manning. Of course he's now the quarterback for the Denver Broncos in Colorado, and he owns a couple of Papa John's franchises. And he said since they legalized marijuana, his profit margin has
Really?
gone through the roof.
You think Peyton knew that was coming? You think he got a little inside tip, and that's
I don't
why he
know.
bought up all those Papa Johns?
I wouldn't-
The Peyton Papa John conspiracy.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, he's got a lot of the Broncos. They got a lot of pull in Colorado.
We should do a documentary on Peyton Manning and the marijuana conspiracy, and how he.
You and your conspiracies.
Now this is going to be something I'm going to be thinking about when I watch him fucking choke against Brady tonight and piss
Oh,
me
yeah.
off
I
for
can't
the
wait to watch the
20th
game.
fucking time in his career.
No, he's gonna
choke
win.
again.
But they're
hope so.
they're in Foxborough though. He doesn't do well there.
Yeah, and supposedly it's snowing up there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Oh yeah.
Are
it's
you a
freezing.
Jet fan?
Yeah, of course.
You root for these teams, man.
I'm not even watching them right now. They're on right now.
I know.
All I cared about was
Yeah.
I want to watch the Steelers and Ravens. That's a
a good
4,
game.
fine. And I want to watch Peyton and
Bronco and Patriots
Peyton
at
and Brady.
4. Yeah. Well, tonight Giants and
That's
tomorrow
night.
night.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who's playing tonight? Awesome game. Not unborn.
I don't even care about the Jets. They're unwatchable. I can't even.
They're so bad.
Vic is worthless, dude. That was like the kind of thing where had Gino been all right and Vic never got in, then the owners could have been like, we're geniuses that we had Vic here to watch after Gino. But now that he got in, they're just exposed as like, yeah, we just whatever. We
Johnny
don't know what the fuck we're
Manziel,
doing.
New York Jets.
No,
He'll be
come
out of
on.
the NFL in 2
You
years.
think so? That's
Johnny-
I don't want a cokehead under center. All right, that's
Manziel.
the last thing we need is a cokehead under center.
How dare you?
That'll fit.
He's a Heisman
perfect.
winner.
Johnny Manziel is one of the biggest cokeheads in the United States of America.
How do you know that?
Allegedly.
Because he's a fucking dirtbag. He does
Allegedly.
dirtbaggy things.
We don't
And you
get
know how
sued.
I know? Look at his frame. You know cokeheads? You know a lot of cokeheads? I know several.
I used to know.
I
used to
know
a lot of
hundreds,
cokeheads.
I know thousands. It's
I used
like
to
a
know.
war scene in Lord of the Rings, just cokeheads
Oh,
in
wow.
droves. But they all they get skinny little frames. You ever notice cokeheads' frames are small? Like, look at Johnny Manziel. He doesn't have broad shoulders. He has like a narrow little frame. Even though he's like,
You
probably
think that
lifts
Coke
weights all
does
the time.
that?
Yeah, Coke
Makes you-
it like withers you away.
Does it?
Initially, and then you start to get fat again once your body just builds up like a tolerance
man.
for it. But you get like withered away. Like any cokehead always has this skinny little frame, and that's
I wouldn't
So there's
know.
I have scientific proof behind my Johnny Manziel accusations.
Like good anecdotal evidence.
Good thing nobody listens to this, otherwise you'd be a womanizer and I'd be slandering Johnny.
I don't think I'm a
Manziel's name.
womanizer. I just think I got a good strategy for women to protect themselves. It's called a clipboard. And they can
Clipboard.
bash men in the face after they smack their
Move to Wisconsin.
vaginas.
They should also have arranged marriages.
Stop dressing too nice. Dress with baggy clothes. That's
Foolproof
is that-
strategy, ladies. Foolproof
Yeah.
strategy. Clipboards. I'm just telling you. All right. So anyway, that's about 45 minutes in. Want to do? You got a funny story?
Yeah. So the
Come up with a
alcoholic
story?
thing.
Speaking of coke and
Yeah.
inebriation.
Speaking of drugs
God, we're
and
moving right along.
and people who like to have fun on the weekends. Got an email from Mike, and he said, "Hey Joe, 29 years old, still live with my parents.
Yeah.
Good job, Mike. Seems like you're killing it." And apparently he was drunk last weekend, and he ordered a call girl to his parents' house when they were
Outstanding.
sleeping, and he took her in their basement. And I asked him kind of how she thought about the whole thing, and he said he told her that they had to keep it down so that they didn't wake up his mom and dad. So,
Oh my God.
I felt like that had to be like career rock bottom for her, no? Like she must have been like, I thought last week with these fucking Wall Street billionaires just taking advantage of me for 5 hours, but this is worse. Like this is even worse.
Wow.
Yeah, so he wants to know if he thinks that's a good enough reason to hang up the booze. I don't think it is. I mean,
What are your thoughts?
So,
What's your advice?
listen,
for
Mike. We all do stupid shit sometimes when we're drunk. I've also noticed that even when you're not drunk, if it's like after midnight, you just tend to wax your morals a bit. So I don't think you have a problem. I think you just got drunk. You wanted to get laid. Maybe you didn't do a good enough job catcalling at the bar that night. Shit went awry. And, your impulses got the best of you. Next time, I would say just take her to a hotel room, have a little bit more fun. But carry on, man.
Yeah, man.
Shit happens. You know?
You're a good red-blooded American. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
People order hookers sober all the time. So you don't. So you were drunk a little bit. So don't worry about it.
Right. If anything, you're a better person than the people who order them sober.
Exactly. At least you have an excuse. You
Right,
drank. You know.
yeah.
But you have to be careful when you get a hooker to your house. A friend of mine got a hooker to his house. Right. His girlfriend was away, and when it was all said and done, during the week, his girlfriend needed her jacket, her nice leather jacket, which she couldn't find. Yeah, the hooker
stole it?
Yeah, that was a tip, I guess.
Can't trust a hooker.
No,
if you can't
man.
trust a hooker, who can you trust?
I know.
What really would have been funny if like his father walked in on them and the hooker looks at the father and goes, "Phil, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?"
I mean, imagine like your parents just had to go to the bathroom. And, well, you would have just told her, you would have just been like,
It's my girlfriend.
this is my
Yeah,
friend
that's it.
Molly,
Yeah.
we're just gonna watch some TV in the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
She would have gone, but
But how cool is how cool are the parents though? Like, okay, honestly, if that was you were the dad,
right.
and your son was doing that, 29-year-old son. I mean, we wouldn't.
I would leave him the fuck alone.
I'd be
But
like,
I would
what are you gonna do?
tell him in the morning, like, listen, man, like, don't be
Right.
bringing whores into my house.
One whore's enough. You call him mother.
Aw.
My grandmother used to call all my girlfriends whores. She don't matter who she was. She just matter. Who's this whore? Oh, damn. Well, grandma, she's a very nice lady.
What do you got? Are we selling things to you? What do you...
Well, I was gonna talk about Gone Girl, but I don't know. We're kind of running low on time. Did you want to?
No, we're good. We're good.
Real quick, Gone Girl, starring Ben Affleck. I saw it. I would just say I'm not a huge fan of anybody in the movie per se, but it was directed by David Fincher. Love David Fincher, and if you're a fan of David Fincher's, who real quick he directed Fight Club, underrated The Game, the great movie Seven, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo recently. I like everything he does. So if you're a fan of his movie, his style, go check out Gone Girl. It's a great movie. It's a little long, but it's fucking awesome. I like it.
Scariest movie I've ever seen. I saw last night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See
Oh.
it still? I haven't seen it yet.
It's
The other
good.
night,
It's
I saw it
good,
on
yeah.
Friday. I
You
should've
walk
taken-
if you go see with your girl. I told Michael you saw with your girl.
Yeah.
You walk out and you just look at her and you go,
Yeah.
"What the fuck are you up to?
What is wrong with you?
What the fuck are you up to?"
Oh man, that was so scary.
Yeah,
That was scary.
it's a fucking frightening movie if you're in a relationship as a dude.
Scarier than Fatal Attraction, I thought.
Oh yeah,
Not better than Fatal Attraction.
It's
I mean, I like Fatal
crazy.
Attraction, but
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to throw in there. That's my 2 cents.
Anything to plug?
Well, any show dates?
show dates.
what do you got coming up?
Johnny Zito's show at Goodbye Blue Monday. That's where I hang out. Thursday night to 7:30. Every Thursday night.
Real quick for me, I'm at the Living Room show. It's Abby Crutchfield and Luke Thayer's show. I think it's Brooklyn. The Living Room show, 8 p.m. Friday, November 7th. I'll plug it. It's a free show. Go check it out. It's always I think it's a good lineup.
I'm gonna go check it out.
The Living Room Show. The Living Room Show.
Nice.
Joe,
I'm at Bananas Comedy Club in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, which is right next to Hackensack, because no one's ever heard of Hasbrook Heights. It's not far from the city.
My sister
it's a really fun club. I like it there.
You've been there before, right?
Yeah, I'm there like twice a year.
Yeah.
It's a really fun. The crowds in Jersey are always great, which pains me to admit because I enjoy shitting on New Jersey every opportunity I get. Because I think they're riding New York's coattails on the pizza and bagels thing. Like, you're not a part of our great bagels.
Yeah.
You're not a part of the state. Stop saying your bagels are as good as ours.
Direct all hate mail to Joey Giarratano.
Right.
At New York City.
So your Jersey, your bagels and your pizza are shit. But as a comedy crowds, you're phenomenal. So I'd love it if you'd come out and see me. It's Friday, I think 9 p.m. showtime, and Saturday it's like 7:30 and 10, something like that. Just check the website.
Oh, you're there
Bananas Comedy Club.
November 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
Okay. Friday, Saturday, November 7th and 8th.
Bananas.
Schmashmanas, yeah.
All right. Last but not least, definitely check us out on our website, NewYorkSilly.com. NewYorkSilly, the word NewYorkSilly.com. Follow us on Instagram at NewYorkSilly. Follow us on Twitter at NewYorkSilly.
Stay tuned, goddammit. Oh, tune in. Don't stay tuned. Tune in.
Also, we are now officially on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. So as always, subscribe to one of those services there.
Do it.
Where we're going to make this
Radio?
Stitcher.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Trying to fuck
Stitcher.
up that.
So thank you guys for listening once again. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace.